What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming through, much appreciated. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're not and you're coming back to watch another video, thank you very, very much. I haven't done a video for a few days, it seems. I've missed it. So loads of videos are going to come out in the next sort of 24 hours. I've just finished watching, like most of you guys, World Boxing Super Series quarterfinal. George Groves, #1 seed versus Jamie Cox. Probably I don't want to say the bottom seed. I'm not quite sure if he was seeded #6, but seeded #8, but I'll have him as the bottom seed. I did a video about this fight in terms of the preview for the fight about 3 weeks ago, and I said George Groves will stop Jamie Cox when he wants. That George Groves is so much better than Jamie Cox. That wasn't the case. Even though it was a third round stoppage, was it third or fourth round stoppage? It wasn't the case. I think fourth round stoppage. Jamie Cox looked good in spots. I actually think he tagged George Groves in the first round and actually hurt George Groves. But nonetheless, I think the bigger, the stronger George Groves was just biding his time. Just biding his time, and then obviously he got a body shot, and that was the end of the fight. A couple of things that was clear. George Groves, I think, has got very, very lazy. I think his jab, which I thought was one of the best in the business for a long, long time, didn't use his jab at all. Seemed to just want to land that big right hand. I think it was more of an ego thing. Chris Eubank knocked out, yielded him. I want to almost end it in impressive fashion as well. Didn't use his jab to set up that big punch, which he could have, which he should have as well. Jamie Cox is good. I think a bit inexperienced. I think he started falling into his shots quite a lot, and I always thought it was a matter of time before he got tagged. I think he done well for the first 2 rounds, and then I just think he looked a bit tired, which was strange. I think, but he looked a bit tired rounds 3 and 4. And I just feel like that was because of the way he was getting tied up by George Groves. I think George Groves put all that extra weight on. And I think Jamie Cox, who, remember, is a career light middle really, I think just felt the extra weight of George Groves. And I think eventually that started to sap on him. But I was surprised it started to sap on him so early. George Groves, you know, this is going to sound very critical, and I'm going to apologise at the front. But this was the first fight where I've got to be critical of Shane McGuigan in terms of what is he as a coach, or what is he as a trainer. I think every trainer has got their style, right? Every single trainer, eventually you can start to see what their style is and what they bring to a fighter. I was watching that fight thinking, what exactly are the effing tactics of George Groves here? What are the tactics? If the tactics are just to kind of have a firefight and land that right hand, spot on. But I doubt they were. I was surprised at the tactics. I didn't understand what they were. George Groves kept going into the ropes, and I thought that was Jamie Cox's best opportunity to land those big, big left hands, and a couple of them did land. So I was surprised by the tactics. But nonetheless, George Groves has beaten Jamie Cox, and now he will fight Chris Eubank Jr. in January, in which will be a huge, huge pay-per-view fight in the UK. Sky will be livid they don't have this fight. Believe you me, we're talking 2 British fighters. We're talking world title on the line. Both have tasted defeat, but there's almost a bit of a grudge match between both. They've sparred. Eubank, like Eubank does, said he's got the better of the sparring. George Groves counters that and says, of course you didn't. So it'll be a very, very interesting fight. If I had to pick a winner right now, I'd say Eubank. I think George Groves looks sloppy. I think he looks very, very sloppy. I think he throws his punches sloppy. I think even when he was throwing his right hand, the power punches, he seemed to leave himself open. And I think the speed of and the ability of Chris Eubank could counter those punches. And I'm not saying he could stop George Groves, but we saw against Yildirim, if he lands clean, it's powerful. But nonetheless, well done to George Groves. He's through to the semi-final where he'll face Chris Eubank Jr. in a mouth-watering contest in January.